All right. Well, we have a city council candidate here. Your name is?
Ronda Almond.
Ronda. So what position are you running for on the city council?
I'm running for Ward 3 to replace Doug Yates, who's retiring off the council.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, family if you choose, things like that.
I've lived here since 1999. I work for Mid-American Energy. Prior to that, I lived in Illinois. I worked for a gas company there also, so I have about 32 years in the gas industry. I have 2 kids. I have a daughter that is 20 today, and she goes to William Penn. And I have a boy that is 17, and he's a junior in high school. I started living in Keoma, and then I moved here a few years afterwards. I've lived in Oskaloosa for all the rest of that. My husband, Bill, works for the school system. Everybody knows Bill around town. He's also the baseball coach. I enjoy the community. I enjoy the people. And I had someone come up and ask me about running for the council, and I thought, why not? So that's how I'm here.
That's why you're here. So what drew you? I mean, yeah, somebody asked you, but you kind of had to have been thinking about.
Yeah,
you know?
I teach in the apprenticeship for my work, and I'm on steering committees. We're rewriting books for apprenticeships right now. I do that. I'm very, very active in the community. Obviously, being a gas serviceman, I'm in and out of homes. I'm in and out of businesses. I drive up and down the streets just like everybody does. I hit every pothole like everybody does. I hear all the things about the community like everybody else does. And so I guess when this came open, when Doug decided to not rerun, I've seen a lot of changes. I've been here 20 plus years. I've seen a lot of changes, some good changes and some bad changes. I think this town has a lot of good things, but I think there's some things that we're lacking on. I think like having children myself, our 20, 30, 40-year-olds here, there's not a lot of things here. There's not a lot to draw them. And that concerns me. I mean, I hope my kids will venture out and do other things, but if they choose to come back to this community, you know, I just feel like we're lacking on entertainment and amenities and things for our kids. And I think there's some things in the community that we could do better, really, honestly.
So you're going to be faced with helping decide a future city manager, a fire chief. There's going to be some big decisions that come about here pretty shortly.
Yeah, I picked a great time to run, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, it might be actually you get to really help set the tone for Oskaloosa.
True.
You know, at least through the next 4 years.
True.
You mentioned a few things that you'd like to see, but was there something you go, you know what, I have a strength in that, and I would really like to use my strength to help Oskaloosa? What would that strength be?
I'm up and down the streets and in and out of the homes. I'm around the town a lot, and I think that the town needs some beautification. I think I actually talked to the fire department today, some fellows over there. Just, you know, you come into town, being someone that wasn't originally from here, and you come down that North Market and that A Avenue corridor, and there's, you know, there's not a lot of wow. There's not a lot of, oh, that looks nice, you know. I think there's some things that we can do as a community to maybe, I know the downtown square, you know, they've done a lot of work, looks beautiful, it's great. The new Y, I'm a Y member. I work out 6 days a week at the Y. Everybody knows me from the Y, body pump, spin class. I think that's going to be a great amenity for our community. I hope we promote that. I hope we get people, I think that would be something that we need to promote as a community to get people to use it. My son swam years ago for the Y. It was a great experience. You know, like I said, I work out there. The bike trail's nice, but I just think that overall there's not a lot of, like, you don't think, wow, I want to move to Oskaloosa. You know, I don't feel that, and I don't feel like a lot of people that I've talked to since they found out I was running, they're like, you know, of course everybody wants to complain about taxes and people tell you about their water bill and things like that, but I think people would like to see some things come in that draw people to come here, to say, I'll drive from New Sharon to come to the Y and work out with my family, or I'll come here from somewhere else. I think we need that. We put a new Scooters Coffee, and I mean, it's brand new and it's flooding the market. You know, I mean, you can't hardly get up and down there. So I think if we had some other things here, I think people would come and use them. And, you know, it just...
Do you think that Oskaloosa, I mean, when you look at some surrounding communities that are growing or they're showing some revitalization. Do you think there's something systemic with Oskaloosa that we're not helping those businesses come to town, or do you think we're doing what we need to do?
I don't think well, obviously, right, the pandemic, and we can blame a lot of things on things like that. I don't think we're not promoting things to come to town. I don't think that at all. I mean, I don't think anybody would say that, but I think maybe we need to reach out and, maybe we need to try to pull something to come in here. I'm new to this. I'm green. Maybe the other council members have tried to reach out, but I did hear from a few people, and people hit you up at Hy-Vee, they hit you up at church, they hit you up everywhere when they find out you're running for council. And I did hear that a few people throughout the community said, Rhonda, there's been some other things that wanted to come here, and there's such restrictions and rules and guidelines that they didn't come. Now, I'm just listening to what the people say. And I told people, everybody that knows I've been running and that I counseled, I went up and down my block, when I got signatures, I told them I want to hear what you want to hear. I want to hear what you want me to know so that I can take it forward to the council, because I think sometimes maybe being out, working out in the public, and maybe being up and down these roads and in and out of these houses, I think maybe I see a little bit more than what maybe, somebody that sits in an office up, all day long. And I kind of, there's sometimes I'll scratch my head about things in this town, why streets, infrastructure, things that I think, we're putting a Band-Aid on something that maybe we need to fix. In the long run, would it be more, more feasible to fix it? And, just things like that I think that we need a better plan as a community maybe to, what's our outlook? What's our plan to make things look nice and stay nice? It seems like for example, we've waited a long time with sewers and water, and we wait till it's bad, and now, we're spending tons of money, right? And so people are upset about the cost of the water bills and the cost of the things like that. And, well, part of it's because we have to do it, right? We're mandated to do some of it, but maybe if we had a better plan, maybe all along, maybe we wouldn't be in such a hole. That's just my opinion.
Right. Okay. So, what do you see your role once you're a city council member? Because right now, I don't think you have any opposition at all.
Yeah, I don't think so. I really want to represent the people. And people know me at work. Like I said, when I teach in my work, and my students will ask me all the time, why can't you just give me the answer? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this a certain way? Why are you explaining it to me 10 different ways? And I said, well, I want you to remember it. And I also tell my students, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So I think for me, I think there's a lot of people in this town that, I hate to say this, like to sit and complain about it, but they don't want to do anything about it. So I feel like part of the reason I think that it was important for me to get on here, I really do want to represent the people. I want to represent the 50-year-old working people that I pay taxes, right? I pay water bills. I'm just like them. You drive up and down the pothole streets. I see the same things they see. The struggles and I feel like I can relate to them. I feel like I'm in their shoes, and I feel like, and nothing against the prior councils, I feel like sometimes maybe people are not as relatable with the public as maybe I am.
So let's just say it's 4 years and you've had enough city council. When you're looking back at your career on the city council, what are you hoping you can check off or be proud of that you did in those 4 years?
I think the first thing is that we did our best, and we tried to make the town a better place, right? Everybody wants their town to be successful. Everybody wants their town to be popular. I think if we can set some goals, maybe they're small goals in the beginning. Like I said, I'm new to this. I've talked to a few of the council members, trying to get my feet wet just to learn some stuff. I don't know, maybe I'm unrealistic. Maybe there is not as much as we can do as I think we can do. But I hope that at the end of the day, or at the end of the 4 years, we can say, well, we at least we set our goals, and we at least met, tried to meet them realistically and tried to help the community.
I always give everybody an opportunity at the end of my conversations to share maybe something that I hadn't asked you about, or a point that you think is pretty important that we should be talking about.
I think our focus, not knowing that we were losing our city manager, our fire chief, we're going to hire a public works guy. I think we really need to focus Mid-America and I deal with the fire department, I deal with the police department, sheriffs. I think that's a very vital role. Actually talking to those guys, to stop and visit with those guys today. I think we really need to focus on a city manager, right? Because this city manager is the rock to the, the council is important, but I really hope that we can find somebody that's vested and has as much interest as Mike did to keep moving forward in the community. I think that's going to be a big job, I think, for the city council, and also with, I think there's 4 new members, so it's going to be a big task. So we're going to have some newer people and everybody's got their own way of thinking. So I hope it's going to be a smooth transition, that everybody has the same goal. Is let's try to lift it up and make it better.
And I remembered my lost question.
Okay.
All right. So working together with other governments nearby, state, county, other cities and towns, how would you do that? How do we find a way that we work together for the common good of everybody?
So what we do at our work is we bring in like my boss was great about this. We bring in the police and the fire and we bring them into our work, and we explain to them why they're important to us, and then they explain to us why they're important to them, and we have a real good relationship with those. And so I think as far as like the YMCA, I'd like to see us reach out to maybe to Eddyville, to New Sharon, to these little towns, and say, hey, we've got a great facility here. Let's get my son swam, great swim. Let's get a swim team. We've got great promote the classes that we have there. I'd like to see us reach out, and if you have things that people want, they'll come, right? They'll come to use your facilities and your restaurants and your businesses. And so, it's just a matter of, I think, just promoting yourself, getting out and tell hey, this is what Oskaloosa is. This is what we have.
So, and we've watched the city and the county government have some friction over some particular items. Do you have any solution to help those two entities bridge their gaps and work together for common good?
Well, I think it's important that that this side thinks they have their right and this side thinks they have the right, and I think it's important to work together. And I think sometimes you're going to have friction like that. Being new and just coming onto the council, I'll just say that I think for the better of that question, I think that maybe bringing somebody else in to help smooth that over is, because sometimes, right, people agree that they disagree, and sometimes you don't come to a common place where you both agree on things. And I think that for what you're talking about with their issue, I think that's been the problem that they've had. So I'm not sure if I have the right answer for that question. So, but I just, you have to be able to communicate. Communication's the key, right? You can't solve anything without being able to communicate. So, sometimes butting heads is all the farther you get. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Once again, your name is?
Ronda Almond.
And you're running for?
And I'm running for City Council for Ward 3.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for coming in, and we'll see you at the forum here.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.